Hey everyone, Cyrix here, and welcome back to Gabriel Night. We are starting out on day 2. Last time we checked out the crime scene, we found a snake scale, which is a little weird because our dreams are all about snakes, or have snakes in them at least. And in this day, we have a couple new places that are open to us, so we get to investigate those. Also in the last video, or in the last 3 videos, I have realized I'm normally doing, when I do a playthrough, they're very old adventure games that are not high resolution. This I'm actually trying to record at 1080p, and I have found that it is a much larger file, and my computer could not really handle it. So apparently a day's worth of rendering in Premiere made me kind of upset. So, but I have a different disk set up now, so I think this might go a little better. If not, I'll just drop the quality and everybody suffers, or I'll compress it. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But let's talk to Grace actually. She did tell us she looked up Malia Getty's address, so she gave that to us. See if there's anything new.
Grace?
What's up?
Yeah, and as we go, we're going to get more topics, so now we can ask everybody about snakes.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Doing a family tree, Gabriel?
Very funny. I mean real snakes, you know, scaly, cold-blooded. I would have thought you'd find them empathetic.
Mm-hmm. I know very little about reptiles of any kind, and prefer to keep it that way. I think there's a book on snakes around here somewhere, though.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, that's a little different. I did actually load the old game to check a couple things out, and that book was definitely not in the bookcase. Herself, I don't think we get anything new.
Yourself, Grace.
What do you want to know?
Yeah.
Nothing, I guess. Never mind.
And we can't request any research right now, so she's no help. But start of the day, newspaper. Actually, I don't know if we get... I think the game is forcing us to drink coffee. I thought you got points for that, but maybe not.
Good coffee.
Alright, and yeah, so you have to read the newspaper. I actually did take a look in between videos. Like I said, the original was, I think, Times-Picayune, and apparently that was, or is, a existing New Orleans newspaper. So, they probably just had to change it. Kinda interesting.
Times dated June 19th, 1993. A front-page article describes the most recent of the voodoo murders. Gabriel scans it but learns nothing new. The article reiterates that the voodoo aspect of the crime is faked. Gabriel shivers. It looked real enough to him. Elsewhere, there's an article about the history of Jackson Square, called the Plaza d'Armes under French rule. It was used for executions, firing squads, hangings, even impalement and breaking on the wheel. Yikes! Of course, these days, it's mostly a hangout for tourists, street musicians, and local artists. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Chances of a dark star rising on this day. Do not trust your instincts.
I feel a dark star rising, all right. Rawr.
Yeah, points for that. I don't really know what that horoscope is referring to. They usually give hints, but I don't know. Walk through Jackson Square. Interesting little fact. Can enjoy a rendition of Saints. In every Gabriel Night, they play Saints Go Marching In at some point. It's always somewhere. Just kind of wondering if an event would happen if I linger around here for long enough, but I don't think it's going to. And we have a bunch of new places to go look at, so let's go to the map. They're not really new places because we had them on the map already, but the game wouldn't let us go there. So let's check out the Dixieland drugstore. We still don't have our grandmother's place either, do we? Huh. Oh wait. Oh no, that's the Getty Mansion. Okay. I wonder if they just cut that area out. That would be a little weird. This place definitely got a graphical update.
Bonjour, Monsieur Walker.
Bienvenue, Madame Casano. Comment ça va? How you be feeling today?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Walker. I'm certain someone's buried a sleep knot bag somewhere near my steps. I haven't slept a wink, not in weeks.
Now, don't that beat all? I'll need some easy night candles then, huh?
Do you think that would help? I do hope you're right. I said 3 rosaries this morning for Our Lady's intervention.
Rosary good, sure enough, but you buying them candles too, boy, you gonna whip any no-sleep gree-gree, I tell you for sure.
Very well, Mr. Walker. Put them on my account and send them around to my house. Oh, and there's another thing. I didn't catch her at it, but I know. Mrs. Lefebvre put stomachache powder in my tea at the last meeting of the Creole Grand Dame. I've been in misery.
Now, you put 9 pinheads up in the little box. Add a pinch of graveyard dust. Put it up under her front post step. That'll turn the trick back on Miss Lefebvre, and she be the one with the bellyache. I got the pins of dust right here if you want them.
If the Blessed Virgin will grant me her protection, I'll be safe from these practitioners of evil.
Oui, madame. Though, don't hurt to be proactive neither now, does it?
Naturellement, monsieur. Merci beaucoup.
Mais non, madame. It's nothing. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Monsieur Walker.
I didn't think she showed up until later, but apparently she shows up now. Okay, so we're gonna pick up a lot of new words to ask people about here. So before talking to them, I'm gonna just look around a little bit.
The poster advertises a voodoo play from last fall. Root bags, curio boxes, and magic candles. Sold as curios only. We cannot guarantee results.
Well?
The Dixieland drugstore is crammed from top to bottom with strange merchandise, some or all of which seem to be related to the practice of voodoo.
Yeah, it sounds like all of it. A lot of bowls here.
Garlic, cloves, and other dried goods and spices are collected in the bowls.
I know where to come if I ever have a vampire problem.
There's a sign here. Oh, look at the sign.
The sign says, Special St. John's Eve Lagnia. Free bottle of Lover Come Back to Me oil, or Master Gambling oil with every purchase over $50.
Lagniappe. My French is lousy, but everyone in New Orleans knows what that means. A little something extra.
It also means free with purchase over $50. I think most people in most places know that. Let's look at the cake. What's Hi John? What's Hi John?
The entire shelf is stocked with containers of High John the Conqueror root powder.
Okay, I really don't know what that is. Shelf case.
Herbal oils for love, luck, power, and success.
Yeah, so mostly just
Herbal
stuff.
oils for
Yeah, we heard that. Weird sign, no stealing sign.
The Dixieland drugstore has a rather terrifying way of dealing with shoplifters.
It's kind of hard to see without getting my face right in the microphone. Steal from us and the police won't be the only thing on your trail. Okay. Fair enough, it's a voodoo place. What the heck is this?
It's a mannequin wearing a crocodile mask.
A little weird.
There's no room for him in the bookstore.
I think it looks kind of neat. Okay, wait, what?
The mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head.
We can use them separately.
To get the mask, Gabriel would have to buy it.
Well, we have no money.
It must be the crocodile thing, but even I'm not interested in undressing that mannequin.
Okay, well, let's talk to Willie. Well, let's look at the register. Can we take the register?
Willie looks ready to defend that cash register with his life.
Okay, let's just... Oh, no, not the register. Cancel. How do you cancel out of this? There we go. Just go to... Let's talk to Willie. We're showing with snake scale.
Do you know anything about snake scales?
I got some snake root and snake powder, but I order them wholesale. I don't handle snakes. I don't like them at all.
Alright, let's talk to Willie.
Is this your store?
This the Dixieland drugstore, and I own it. Me. Name's Walker. Willie Walker.
And yes, we have so many things to talk about.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
Do you think I'm stupid? This is a voodoo shop. Look at all this stuff.
These is novelties, curiosities. If people want to think they magic, it's not my concern, you know?
Are you telling me that you own a voodoo shop, but you know nothing about voodoo practices?
Ça n'est pas affaire blanc.
What does that mean?
It mean you should mind your own business, monsieur.
Look, I'm researching voodoo for a book.
I don't have your answers, me. You want to buy something, monsieur?
Nope. Voodoo murders. Apparently we, I still don't like that it points out everything important to ask him. Because you know everything else is going to be boring.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Caprice encore.
What did you say?
Nothing. Them killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
Yes, we get that phrase. It'll be forever before we find out what that means.
What do you think of Nolans?
I live here all my life, me.
What do you think of Nolans?
If you're not from around here, monsieur, you should sign up for some tours.
No, we live here.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's the biggest night of the year in voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
I couldn't say.
Of course you could. Yeah, we noticed your animal mask over there.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
The only one left is Willie Jr. over there, the old crocodile. He's sort of a mascot now, him.
Good to know. I think that also means, like, now we can ask everybody else in the world about animal masks.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What kind of snakes?
The kind they use in voodoo?
Pythons, boas, so I've heard.
Really? Do you have one?
Are you crazy? What would I want with a python?
Okay, yeah, so let's ask what this was all about. He kind of blurted that out when we asked about the murders.
What did you mean when you said Caprice encore?
I didn't say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong, monsieur. I said no such thing.
Yeah, he will not tell us, and I think it's French, so yeah, you could pull up Google and find out what it means, but I don't really think that'll help either. Unless you, by searching it, you find out something related to Gabriel Knight, which actually tells you what it really means. But yeah, we'll figure that out eventually.
That customer of yours, the little old lady.
Customer?
The woman I saw in here, Madame Casino, you called her.
I don't talk about my customers to men who come in off the street.
It's important that I talk to Madame Casino. You see, I'm doing some research and...
I can't tell you anything about her.
A little weird because I don't really know why we need to talk to her. She just kind of seemed like a random person. Let's skip these for now. What's Willie Jr.? Is that it? Yeah, what is Willie Jr.?
About Willie Jr. Would you be willing to let him go?
Maybe. For $100.
100? You gotta be kidding.
Me and Willie Jr. are very close now. I couldn't part with him for less.
Oh, Willie Jr. is the mask. Okay.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult me, monsieur. The price is $120.
Hey.
What? You said you'd sell it for 100 before.
You misheard, monsieur. The price was always $120.
What a jerk.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult.
Okay.
What?
Well, let's ask about himself.
Tell me about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
How did you get into this kind of business?
Now, why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Not very talkative.
So, this is a voodoo store, huh?
Voodoo? No, man. This is a curio shop. The things you see here are from local folklore. None of it real, I tell you for sure.
What about all these magic oils and powders you're selling? Aren't they a part of voodoo?
Read the label, man. We make no claims. Sold as curio only. It mean what it say, no? These are novelties, not voodoo.
Okay.
So, do you get many tourists in here?
We, all the time. They want to buy a bottle of money-drawn oil or wang a bag to take home with them.
How's business?
About like always.
I'm a businessman, too. I own a bookstore here in the quarter.
I don't really care, me. I got a store to run.
Well, we do too, but we came out to talk to you.
Have you always lived in New Orleans?
My papa and his papa and his papa, all the way back to the days of Marie Laveau, we've been living here.
So, does any of this stuff actually work?
You crazy, man? These are just curios, novelties for the tourists.
Nice weather we're having.
Don't bother me. Can't you see I'm busy? St. John Eve coming, I got to be ready.
Okay, we have exhausted all options. And we don't have any money. We could be a jerk and show him this murder photo. Hey, get back here. Get back here. Nah, whatever.
Would you mind taking a look at this photograph?
It says it again.
What does that mean?
Nothing, man. I didn't say nothing like that. You heard me wrong, man.
Yeah, he will not tell us. What about this? He seems to know stuff about voodoo, and this is the pattern we took from the murder scene.
Do you recognize this pattern?
Don't look familiar at all, monsieur.
Alright, well, you've been not much help at all, except you've given us a whole bunch of new topics. Goodbye, sir. Next, let's go to the Voodoo Museum.
Welcome, my friend. Hello, I am the proprietor, Dr. John. If you have any questions, I will be happy to assist.
Great, my name is Knight, and I'll probably take you up on that.
Probably. Oh, there are a lot of things here. So many things. It's a switch. You can play with that.
What does this do?
Turn that thing off.
Oh, sorry.
That snake over there does not like it.
Yeah, I see.
Alright, it's got drumming. There's a lot of drummers around. The wall.
That doesn't seem to work that way.
I don't think that works.
The back wall displays various voodoo items, such as offerings of fruits to the voodoo deities.
Is it gonna just like pick random things every time I look?
The back, an African statue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Now,
keep
why does
on
that
track.
remind me of Grace?
That must be Marie Laveau.
How would you know that? I'm not gonna keep looking at that.
Something about the shape of that knife gives Gabriel the creeps.
Yeah, it is our loading cursor. And I think it might actually have been in his dream. Or at least a very similar one. Can we take it?
Yeah, right. I'd probably cut my own head off with that thing.
Let's use. I'm sure he can't take it though.
Gabriel doesn't want anything to do with that knife.
Totem pole.
An authentic-looking pole marks the center of the room. Authentic what? Gabriel isn't sure.
So, whip?
A leather whip hangs from a peg on the wall.
Oh, hurt me.
Shrine. We're actually going to walk over to this one.
The voodoo shrine is filled with items that both fascinate Gabriel and also make his skin crawl.
Yeah. Wow, there are a lot of things here. Actually, not really, just skull, coffin, and cross. And a flyer. What's the flyer?
Magenta Moonbeam. Voodoo Inn.
A flyer advertising Magenta Moonbeam, a local voodoo inn. Her parlor is on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine.
Interesting. That gives us a new place to go, but usually we get it from Dr. John over here. Creepy looking cross.
Well, that looks sacrilegious.
Yup. Skull.
Wonder who that poor bastard was.
And a coffin.
This coffin is so small.
Coffin that we can use items on.
Gabriel can't...
And wine. Okay.
A waste of some perfectly good wine, if you ask me.
Looks empty. Yeah, nothing else really to look at, so let's not. With wishing stump.
An official voodoo wishing stump. Rub it and make a wish, a card says.
Funny, I say the same thing to women.
Can we?
I wish Malia Getty were mine forever. Really, I mean it.
What was that?
Huh? Nothing.
He does not like us witching. And a snake up here. Let's look at that.
A very large, very formidable-looking snake is secured in a plexiglass cage.
Safe away from me.
A beaded gourd is on display.
So many things to look at here. Alright, let's talk to Dr. John. Can we operate him?
Given the man's size, that doesn't seem advisable.
Probably not. He's kind of a big guy. Let's talk to Dr. John.
Could I ask you a few questions?
That is why I am here.
Oh, all the things. And the top thing is the gold one.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Historical voodoo, or the voodoo currently practiced in the city.
Okay, so now we have those two to go on about. Let's continue with that.
Tell me about historical voodoo.
Very well. I will start at the beginning, Mr. Knight, and will go on from there at your prompting.
Sounds good.
Which means...
As you may know, voodoo is a grassroots religion, formed by the mixing together of many different African tribal religions and Anglo religions, such as Catholicism or Protestantism. In other words, it is a religion born of the African slave trade. But African slaves were imported not only by the United States, but also into the West Indies, where the French and Spanish ran plantation islands. Prior to 1803, the New Orleans area was owned by France. The French Creole in those days owned many African slaves. But the Creole did not permit their slaves to gather, giving no chance for voodoo to breed here natively. The Creole also knew enough about the corrupted pagan practices of the West Indies slaves to ban the importings of slaves from that region.
Okay, oh, and we can keep going.
So how did voodoo come to New Orleans?
After the Louisiana Purchase, American legislators relaxed regulations. Slaves were permitted to gather. The Americans also removed the ban on West Indies slaves. Around the same time, a slave revolt occurred in Santo Domingo, what is now Haiti. Between the lifting of the ban and the Haitian Revolt, West Indies slaves began pouring into New Orleans. Some of them were free people of color, freed or escaped slaves. Some came with their white owners who were fleeing from the revolt.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of information dumped from him.
What happened when the West Indies slaves got here?
They brought voodoo with them. The native slaves were more than enthusiastic about embracing it. It gave them power, Mr. Knight. If only in the form of a communal bond. Among the first meeting places were the Bayou St. John and the shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The early voodoos were heavy snake worshippers, worshipping the one they called the Great Zombie.
The Great Zombie. Okay.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
By 1817, the voodoo activities were beginning to cause fear among the white slave owners. An ordinance was passed to forbid slave gatherings except in designated public areas at designated times. The time was Sunday afternoons, and the place, Congo Square. The slaves and free people of color gathered to dance simulations of their voodoo dances, right in sight of Creole society. Of course, they also continued to meet in private for the real thing.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
There were a variety of kings and queens at first, voodoo priests and priestesses. But from about 1830, a single power emerged. This was a voodoo queen named Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau ruled voodoo in New Orleans for many years.
Yeah, we have heard a lot about her. And historical voodoo is now all used up. I'm not going to get into these ones yet, because we're getting short on time, but I will talk a little bit about a couple other things to get them out of the way.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
The killings in the newspaper. I know they have nothing to do with true voodoo in New Orleans.
What makes you think the voodoo murders aren't being done by local practitioners?
Voodoo is a popular boogeyman, Mr. Knight, especially in New Orleans. Anyone can pretend to use it, just as anyone can pretend to be a black belt in karate. And for the same reason, to intimidate. I know voodoo in this city, Mr. Knight, and believe me, it is not about killing. Even the police have stated that the killings have nothing to do with local voodoo.
That is true. Alright, we can still go on about it?
So you know...
I neither know nor care. So far it has not been an issue. No one has even had the bad taste to bring it up. Until you, that is.
Sorry, I saw that it was grayed out, so I figured it was going to be something just to click through. Does that mean that this is going to be disappeared?
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about voodoo?
I've given you as much detail as I can, Mr. Knight. Look around the museum if you desire more information.
Okay, well, we're down to one column of things. What's a quick one? Let's ask about this.
Do you know what caprice and call means?
I fear my French is not all it should be, Mr. Knight.
Yeah, that's a fast one. I'm looking for things that would be quick. A lot of these seems like he's gonna have multiple things to say about them.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
I used to have some antique African totem masks, but they were on the point of disintegration, so I removed them.
Anything more?
Are you sure you can't educate me further about animal masks?
Unfortunately, I do not know much about totem masks. The practice was more African than American, and that is not my area of expertise.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, we are short on time, so we will have to continue talking to Dr. John in the next video. And after that, we still have the police station to go to, where we can talk to Mosley. There'll probably be a lot of talking in the next episode too. There was this time too. But thank you for watching, and see you then.